I'm Paul Woodford, you're watching Motorpoint TV. Here we are with Charley Boorman. Charley, we'll talk about the new show just very shortly, but this bike that we're lent on here, quite exciting that this is completely new. It's not even revised, is it?
Yeah, no, I mean, it is, absolutely. I mean, I remember when Ewan and I first started doing these trips back in 2004, we did them, and we were on the GS 1150, which was, and then when we did Long Way Down, we did the new 1200, and that was a totally new bike. And now they've come out with this one, which is the water cooled completely. There's only one thing which is the same on this bike than the last one, and that's the oil filler cap.
So at least you'll know how to take that off then.
Exactly. Yeah, always important to check your oil levels. No, but it's beautiful, because you know what's funny about this one is that when you look at it from a distance, it looks like a GS, and then as you walk closer, you start to realize that it actually changes everything. Every single thing on it is changed. The swing arm is in a different position. It's got cruise control. It's loads of different things that just make the whole experience better. You know.
The GS, it's fair to say, has become synonymous with you guys with this long way round, long way down show. But the adventure touring market in general, I've heard more than one person say that you guys have really kick-started that, and it has become a big market, hasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I think we just got lucky. You know, I think Ewan and I, back when we started this, you know, wanted to go off on an adventure and you know, with the two of us and travel around the world. And you know, loads of people have done it before us. And there's Kevin Saunders and Nick and Julia Saunders. There's all sorts of people out there who are doing it. And I think the difference for what Ewan and I did is that we made it a bit more mainstream. And you know, it wasn't something we wanted to do or said this is what we're going to set out to do. It just kind of sort of happened. I think we got lucky that the TV show was watchable, and then we arrived at a time when people were looking for something a bit more than just going on a holiday or you know, I think people nowadays, and the whole adventure tourism has gone, not just motorbikes but everything. People want a little bit more, I think, for their holiday now, rather than just sitting on a beach, because you can do that any old time. You know, to get out there and have an adventure, and for things to go wrong, you know, you'll remember the things that went wrong forever. You know, you won't remember sitting on the beach getting shit-faced, you know. Well,
you know, I'm sorry, you put me off with the whole shit-faced thing. I'm thinking, is this a kid show? No, it's probably not a kid show. We can probably go with that. But I think it's something, it's cool now to have something other than a sports bike sat in the garage, and you're partly responsible for that revolution in the biking world. But come on then, talk to us about the new show, the South African Adventure. Yeah, well, I've taken the GS out again, and the idea was, I did one last year called Extreme Frontiers Canada, and because in all the past TV shows I've done, you know, we've gone through countries relatively quickly, and the idea was to sort of do this one, to choose a country that I'd been to, but to get to know it properly, get under the skin. So we did that last year in Canada, and then this year we've just done one in South Africa called Charley Boorman South African Adventure, which comes out on Channel 5 in around January time. And so I've gotten on the bike and gone all around South Africa, got myself involved in from white shark cage diving to going into a gold mine 3 kilometers into the mountain, 1.5 kilometers down, and blowing things up. How was the bike underwater?
Bike underwater was perfect. Little snorkel, a bit heavy, but no, and did all sorts of crazy things. And so that comes out. So I'm really excited about that. And then I do these motorcycle tours as well, where I take people across Australia and across Africa as well. So if you want to come along.
Fantastic. I like the idea of that. Could we have a word with the producer, do we think?
It's not very expensive.
Now,
CharleyBoorman.com. Okay.
No, we talked about getting under the skin of the country, but getting under the skin of the bike must be something you have to get to do. You must form a real relationship, if that's possible to say, with a bike when you're spending that much time with it, and you've become so, as I said before, synonymous with a brand of bike.
Yeah, no, I think you do. I think you know, when you do long journeys and travel a long time, you talk to Nick Saunders and, you know, or the Mondo Enduro guys and stuff like that. You know, when you're traveling on these bikes, you've got your tent and your sleeping bag, and you've got everything that you need for your adventure, and so that bike becomes more and more important to you. You know, the further into the wilderness you go. So when you're stuck in the middle of Mongolia, in the middle of nowhere, you know, that bike is the only thing that is going to get you to the next place. And so you do form a bond with it, and after a while of traveling, you know, you almost prefer to camp than you do to go into a hotel, because a hotel you've got to unpack the whole thing, make sure your bike's safe, Whereas camping, you just choose anywhere, stop and camp beside your bike, get your food on, and it's kind of fun. So it does become a great part of you. And it's always these big journeys. When you get to the end of a journey, part of you really wants to give up, stop because you can see your family and all that kind of stuff. But the other part of you, doesn't want to give up the bike and give up the freedom of just sort of pointing the bike somewhere and going,
Well, you certainly made camping more glamorous as far as I'm concerned. I'm going to put you on the spot. What's your favourite part of this new GS? And you're not allowed to say the oil cap because you're familiar with it.
It's old. No, I think it's actually when you sit on the bike and the feeling it's much thinner, and it has more ground clearance. So it just feels a little bit better than the last one, and a bit crispier. It's got a real crisp, very sort of. It's got a lot of pull at the bottom end. It's really nice to ride. It wheelies very well as well. So.
Good answer. BMW, you chose your ambassador well. Thanks for talking to us, Charlie.
It's my pleasure. Go out and get one.